What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Unk TV. Ice raids in California. Trump is cleaning up all of the crime-ridden cities in America. I got this video for you guys. I want you to check it out.
IC had been watching. Surveillance teams documented shift changes, monitored employee parking lots, even tracked delivery schedules. They knew exactly when the facility would be fully staffed, dawn shift change, maximum workers, minimum witnesses. The operation was months in the making. Federal agents had been conducting what they called pattern of life surveillance since early spring, unmarked vehicles parked across from employee entrances, drones mapping facility layouts during off hours, even undercover operatives posing as delivery drivers to document internal security procedures. Anonymous sources reveal the scope of pre-raid intelligence gathering was unprecedented. ICE surveillance teams identified specific workers through license plate tracking. They mapped carpools and bus routes used by employees. They even monitored local check cashing businesses and money transfer services frequented by warehouse staff. But here's what makes this.
So as you can see, the Trump administration, the ICE agents, the National Guard in DC, working with local authorities, the FBI, the Trump administration is not playing. They are cleaning up the streets. There's news in every major metropolitan city in America right now. The cleanup is astronomical. And for the people complaining about it, I don't know, maybe they like crime or whatever it is, or maybe they like immigrants and moving into their neighborhoods and doing what immigrants do because immigrants are going to live how they live because they come from a different culture. What they consider right over there is wrong over here. What we consider right over here is wrong over there. So there's going to be a lot more crime when you have a lot more immigrants. I don't understand when I hear people rooting for immigrants to be able to walk into America freely. I took a trip out of the country once. It was so beautiful. I wanted to stay a little bit longer. I had to get back home to take care of business. But could I stay? What would have happened if I overstayed my visit? I can only imagine what it would be like in a third world country or in another country's jail. It's not ran like this. I believe we're a lot more civilized. That's just my opinion. Back to this video, man. But hey, Trump sweeping up the streets. He got a broom out and he's sweeping up the streets. The street sweeper. That's Trump's new name. The street sweeper.
From typical immigration enforcement. The investigation wasn't just about undocumented workers. Federal agents were building a racketeering case. Leaked DHS documents suggest investigators uncovered an entire ecosystem of document fraud, not just individual workers using fake papers, but organized networks supplying false credentials specifically to warehouse operations, Social Security numbers purchased in bulk, green cards manufactured with sophisticated printing equipment, even driver's licenses.
Driver's license, social security cards, green cards, all printed up fraudulently in bulk. This was a major operation. That Costco was being ran, and I know it's not just Costco. This was a money scheme. This was a money scheme to present all of the documents that you need to work and make it look like you're a legal citizen in America. They're being sold on the black web, but wherever they're being sold, I don't know, because I'm not an immigrant looking for illegal documents to make it seem that I'm really a citizen. But all of this is a money scheme. I bet you it's not just Costco. As you can see in the video right here, there's a Ross. Are they working for the Ross Manufacturing Company? I'm pretty sure all of these companies are hiring these immigrants for a little or nothing. They probably got them back down to $7 an hour, $3 an hour, working them 12, 14, 16-hour shifts. And And if you know anything about business and running a company, the biggest majority payout that comes from your business, your revenue, it goes to the employees. That's the biggest payment for any big company. Fortune 500 companies, any companies with 200, 500 employees. That's the biggest chunk out of their revenue is to pay the employees. So you got to think, giving raises and all, it's way cheaper. You got to think, Americans, we want raises, we want incentives, we want benefits, we want everything in the package before we go and work for a company. So it's going to cost that company more and more and more. And the longer you stay, the more you get paid because the more experience you have and the more professional you become. These migrants are coming in here doing the professionals are going to get paid the people in corporate, they're going to get paid their professional wage because they make everything go right within like the paperwork part of it, the desk work. But that hard work that needs the elbow grease, that on the ground work, that foot work, where you got to get in those warehouses and sweat because it's 100 degrees in the warehouse for 12, 14, 16 hours just to make a living. These immigrants are undercutting and they're getting that. And these companies are saving millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars every year that they're able to hire low cost workers. Illegal immigrants that are going to work for cheap. Let's watch this cleanup, man. Maybe some of us can get our jobs back and get back to a livable wage. And Costco, they just got to, I don't know, these companies just got to get more creative to make more money. But Americans, we're not going to work for that cheap. And there's no reason why these stores should be running, doing this, running that cheap. It's actually illegal. They shouldn't be doing it because it's against the law. Let's get back to the video.
With legitimate state DMV materials. The money trail led investigators deeper than anyone expected. Wire transfers to document mills in Texas, cash payments to recruitment networks operating out of day laborer centers, even payoffs to temporary staffing agencies that allegedly specialized in placing undocumented workers in logistics positions.
See, this, I'm telling you, this was a multi-million, probably a $1 billion operation. And ICE is busting it. Over 900 illegals were captured in this one raid. So think about all of the big companies everywhere that has this going on. This is just a small fraction of it. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Let's get back to the video.
Federal surveillance teams documented meetings between warehouse supervisors and document suppliers. Phone calls discussing inventory needs that weren't about merchandise. Financial transactions that coincided with new employee orientation sessions. This wasn't random hiring. This was systematic recruitment designed to fill an entire facility with workers who couldn't complain about conditions, couldn't report violations, and couldn't organize for better wages.
System recruitment. I'm telling you, this was $1 billion operation, man. They just popped them. The only thing they were almost like robots. You're illegal. You come here to do one thing. You can't report anything to OSHA. If you're treated unfairly in here, you can't say anything. You can't go call the local authorities. You're illegal. You're here illegal. And that's what happens, man. So now we have sweatshops right here in America. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Surveillance operation expanded beyond the Costco facility itself. Federal agents tracked connections to other distribution centers throughout California and Arizona. Amazon fulfillment warehouses using similar staffing patterns. Target distribution hubs with identical document fraud indicators. Even major grocery chains whose regional facilities showed the same suspicious hiring practices.
And that's what I was just speaking about. This is happening in more than just that Costco over in California. They say it stretches all the way out to Arizona. They're going in there finding fraudulent documents. These companies are hiring these people for $2, $3, maybe $5 an hour and working the ever loving mess out of them people, man. And they're enjoying it. All of the fraudulent documents, since illegals have been here, fraudulent documents, people that are companies that are selling fraudulent documents on the black market, they're getting rich. These companies are getting rich. They're capitalizing off of this. Trump is doing an amazing job at cleaning this up, man. This is crazy.
Reports suggest the network extended across state lines, recruitment operations in border regions, transportation networks moving workers to specific facilities, even housing arrangements designed to keep workers isolated and dependent on their employers.
Housing. They're providing housing for the illegal migrants. You go, we're going to provide this house for you. It's right by the job. You wake up, you come to work. You get off, you go home. Eat, sleep, wake up, come to work. You get off, you going home. Eat, sleep, wake up, come to their bill. They turn these are slaves. These are robots, and they're caught up in the illegal system. They're here illegally. To tell you the truth, they got what they deserved. They got what they're getting what they deserve. This is absolutely crazy.
But the breakthrough came when federal investigators identified the coordination hub, not in the warehouse itself, but in a small office building 15 miles away. Corporate consultants who specialized in staffing solutions for logistics companies. Their client list read like a directory of major retail distribution operations. Surveillance teams documented briefcases full of documents being delivered to this office. Workers arriving for orientation sessions that lasted just long enough to receive new identification papers, even cash transactions involving warehouse managers who allegedly came to purchase specific numbers of workers for upcoming busy seasons. The scope was staggering. Hundreds of workers processed through this single hub, thousands of false documents created and distributed, millions of dollars in fraudulent wages paid through legitimate payroll systems using fabricated employee records. Federal agents realized they weren't just investigating immigration violations, they were uncovering a massive conspiracy that involved corporate management, document forgers, recruitment networks, and even complicit government contractors who provided temporary staffing services. The surveillance operation revealed timing patterns that made the dawn raid inevitable. New workers were typically processed on Monday mornings. Shift changes happened at 6 a.m. when security was lightest. And most importantly, the facility reached maximum capacity during the early morning hours when overnight freight operations overlapped with day shift preparations.
All I can say is this is deep. It's deeper than even I thought. This is getting deep, man. This is a big time money scheme. They bringing them dollars in right there, man. They had a whole recruitment system set up to house the migrants, transport them to and from work, provide them with documents. They got them trapped in the illegal system to where they can't come out and complain about the company and the way that the company is ran, whether there's unsafe work hazards or anything going on in the company, man. You got to think, no insurance. They don't have to provide them with insurance. No 401k, no shares into the company. No health benefits, no dental benefits, no medical, no vision. This is way deeper than what I thought it was going to be. This video, man, is so informative. Hey, man, you guys out there that voted for, that want illegal migrants to live in society and thrive, As you can see, this is not living in society and thriving. This is a criminal enterprise. That's exactly what it is.
IC tactical teams studied these patterns for weeks. They knew exactly how many workers would be present. They identified all exit routes and security checkpoints. They even mapped internal communication systems to ensure facility managers couldn't warn workers during the operation.
So ICE and HSI police, as you can see right there, they had it covered. They covered every corner. They had all bases covered, man. They went in there like a SWAT team. They knew all of the exits. They had the managers identified and knew how to come in and attack and without them being able to warn people to be able to get away. And even if they did try to get away with all exits covered, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. Good job to America. Good job to the Trump administration. Man, this is deeper than we all could have ever imagined. I'm pretty sure they raked in billions and billions of dollars running these operations and providing fake illegal migrants with fake documents posing as legal migrants to different companies all over the west end of the country, man. I know there's more. I know that it's all over America. There's going to be more news like this. I'm telling you, man. 900 illegals captured in minutes. This is crazy.
But the surveillance also revealed something federal agents hadn't expected. The workers weren't just victims of document fraud. Many had been recruited with promises of legitimate employment, only to discover their papers were fake after they'd already started working. Others had purchased documents believing they were genuine, paying thousands of dollars to networks that specialized in creating convincing forgeries. Anonymous sources describe a system designed to exploit desperation. Workers who discovered their documents were fraudulent faced impossible choices: report the fraud and lose their jobs, or continue working and risk federal prosecution.
They trapped them. I told you, man. They don't care if look, they're gonna lie to you. They just need bodies in there working. They're gonna lie to you and tell you, yeah, if if you stay here 3 months after 90-day probationary period, that's basically what it is. Just like any other 90-day probationary period, your documents will come legal. Yeah, see, your documents will become legal in 90 days. Yes, working hard, muchos trabajos, working hard. You can get your documents in 90 days. Legal documents. Legal. After the 90 days, hey, these are still the same fraudulent documents. Shut up and get to work. They played them, but then again, they didn't. It's like they know they're illegal. And they know the proper process to get your papers, man. You have to go through the federal government to become a citizen in America. And you have to get accepted and approved, and you get a green card and your citizenship and whatever the steps is. You can't just you can't just hop the fence over into America, show up on the job. I'm here to work. And then they give you a job and they tell you, well, after 90 days, we can get you them papers. Oh, you can? Oh, I'm working hard, me working hard. And then you knew that was a scam. You knew that was a lie, man. You fell for it. The good thing is, you probably won't do any time. You'll just get deported. Thanks to the wonderful, good-hearted Donald Trump that we have in office. He's not going to lock you up and put you in jail. He's going to deport you back home, so you'll still be free. You just be at home. Make the best of your country and your culture and how you do things over there. Just make the best of it. It's not all that over here in America anyway. I love America though. But you gonna work.
To keep working, hoping they could save enough money to eventually obtain legitimate papers. The surveillance teams documented the human cost of this system. Workers afraid to seek medical care because hospitals might verify identification. Families avoiding schools and community centers where immigration status might be questioned. Children growing up in households where parents worked in constant fear of discovery. But federal investigators also documented the corporate.
He was just about to run her over. Did you see that, man? The man just straight hit the gas. Hey man, you better get out of the way. You standing in front of this vehicle right here. I don't know what you think this is. We are not about to play with you. Now watch when they jump in this Suburban. What boy, these U.S. Marshals do not play, man. They not dressed up like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for no reason. Man, look at this. Watch this.
Children growing up in households
Now look at
where
her,
parents worked
with the
in
phones
constant
out.
fear of discovery.
Look.
But federal investigators also documented the corporate benefits.
Mess around and become some roadkill out there. That man was finna turn you into a pancake. Man, look here, man. Y'all better stop playing with these people. They not playing. They here to do their job. They're not here to make you feel safe and secure or listen to your demands. They here to clean this place up, and that's it. And to be honest with you, that's what it's going to take to get this country back in line and cleaned up, man. That's what it's going to take. And there's more coming. I think he's coming for every one of these sick Democratic or liberal ideologies that's out there that's messing up society. They're messing up households. I think he's coming for all of that. Just watch. I'm telling you, we're going to keep paying attention. Tune in to Unk TV. Hit that like button and subscribe. I'm going to be bringing you these videos back to back. And we're going to keep up with everything that's happening. But I'm telling you, they're coming for all of these agendas. Liberal agendas. They're coming for them.
Warehouse facilities could maintain artificially low labor costs because workers couldn't complain about wages or conditions. Overtime regulations were routinely violated because employees feared drawing attention to themselves. Safety protocols were ignored because injured workers couldn't risk filing compensation claims. The financial advantages extended beyond direct labor costs. Companies using fraudulent workers could undercut competitors who employed legitimate staff. They could accept contracts with impossibly tight margins because their labor expenses were subsidized by exploitation. They could promise delivery schedules that other companies couldn't match because their workforce would accept mandatory overtime without complaint. Intelligence reports suggest some corporate executives were fully aware of the arrangement. Internal emails discuss staffing flexibility and documentation efficiency. Quarterly reports celebrated reduced labor costs without explaining how those reductions were achieved. Board meetings included presentations on competitive advantages that never mentioned the source of their cost savings. But surveillance also revealed the vulnerability of the entire system. One federal raid could shut down operations that had taken years to establish. Detention of key workers could cripple facilities that depended on specific skills and experience. And prosecution of document suppliers could collapse networks that serve multiple corporate clients. Federal agents realized they had discovered more than immigration violations. They had uncovered systematic labor trafficking disguised as legitimate employment. The Costco facility wasn't just hiring undocumented workers. It was participating in an organized conspiracy to exploit vulnerable populations for corporate profit. The decision to move forward with the raid wasn't just about immigration enforcement. It was about dismantling a criminal enterprise that had corrupted an entire industry sector. The warehouse floor went silent. Forklifts stopped mid-turn. Conveyor belts froze with packages still moving. Workers looked up to see tactical officers streaming through loading dock doors, zip ties ready, commands echoing off warehouse walls. Nobody moves. Hands visible, stay where you are. The operation unfolded with military precision. ICE agents had trained for weeks using warehouse layouts obtained during surveillance operations. They knew which entrances led to employee break rooms. They identified supervisor offices and security stations. They even mapped emergency exits that workers might use to escape. Teams moved through the facility in coordinated sweeps, loading docks secured first to prevent anyone from fleeing through delivery truck areas, then receiving zones where morning freight was being processed. Finally, the main warehouse floor where most workers were operating machinery and managing inventory. But this wasn't a chaotic roundup. Federal agents had specific targets identified through months of surveillance. Workers whose documentation had been flagged during the investigation. Supervisors who allegedly participated in the fraudulent hiring process, even temporary staffers who had been recruited through the document mill networks. The zip tie restraints weren't standard immigration enforcement protocol. They were typically used in organized crime operations involving multiple suspects and complex evidence preservation. Every detained worker was treated as a potential witness in a broader criminal investigation. Workers were separated into groups based on their suspected roles in the operation. New employees who might have been recent victims of document fraud, long-term staff who could provide information about recruitment and management practices, supervisors and lead workers who allegedly helped coordinate the fraudulent hiring system. The processing was systematic. Each detained individual was photographed, fingerprinted, and questioned about their employment history. But the questions weren't just about immigration status. Federal agents wanted to know about recruitment methods, document suppliers, wage payment systems, and management awareness of fraudulent hiring practices. Anonymous sources described workers who seemed relieved to finally tell their stories. Years of working in fear, knowing their documents were questionable, but unable to escape the cycle of fraudulent employment. Some had been threatened by recruitment networks if they tried to leave or seek legitimate work elsewhere. Others described sophisticated systems of control, workers who questioned.
So they had them boys trapped like the cartel. They had them trapped like the mob. If you try to leave, they told them illegal migrants, if you try to leave and find better employment or a better job from us, you will lose everything. They threatened them. They scared them. They made them stay. They came over here and trapped them. And that's what happened. One illegal act could lead to another illegal act that can lead to a bigger illegal act that can have you trapped in the whole sum of illegal activity to where you can't get out. I remember back in the days, they were saying, hey, and I know it's still going on, but if you work for the cartels and you do such a good job moving product or whatever you're doing for them illegally, there's no way out. The only way out is unalive, sleep. That's the only way out. And that's what they got these people caught up in, man. And hey, it's this operation that Trump ran with ICE it was masterful. They broke it all the way down to the science of it. They left no table unturned. Man, listen, they touched on everything that they needed to touch on to get this job done. Once again, man, I salute to Donald Trump and his administration. I totally agree, and I totally side with the cleanup of crime in D.C., illegal migrants coming from an open border, border control down in Texas, El Paso, just everything that I've been seeing. He's stopping wars left and right, getting the homeless up off of the streets to get them treatment, jobs, or jail. Whichever one you want, that's the one you're going to get. We're going to provide it for you. But you're not going to be out here laying on the streets. They putting a stop to it. I saw a lady in D.C., a resident of D.C. She was young, a black girl. And she said it feels good to be able to stop at the stoplight or a stop sign or stop in the turning lane, waiting to make a left turn, and not have to worry about being carjacked. And y'all telling me that what Trump is doing is wrong, man. Y'all need to get off of that mainstream media, do research for yourself, and see what the facts are, find out what's going on. Stop listening to these traditional media sources that's feeding you all of the wrong information. They got you so lost and confused to where you don't even know a good thing when it's happening right in front of you. You think bad is good, and you think that the good is bad. They got your mind all twisted up, man. All twisted up. Hey, man, Hit that like button, subscribe, leave your thoughts down in the comment section. Do you think that ICE is doing a good job? Do you think that's what's happening in DC is a good thing and is cleaning up the streets, man? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section. Subscribe to Unk TV, and we'll be back with more exciting videos, keeping you updated on the latest news and the latest happenings in society, in current events, and in pop culture. Hit me back later. Peace.